Hello there. It's been a quieter week this week on the political front, but there's still been quite a lot to report on. Traditionally, the summer's a slower period and a lot of people are away on vacation, and perhaps the most important person to go on vacation this week is King Salman of Saudi Arabia. But before he went away on holiday, the cabinet in Saudi Arabia approved the nuclear project, which is quite an important development. Saudi Arabia's been talking about developing nuclear power in the kingdom for quite some time, and this appears to give that whole program the green light. There wasn't much detail given of the proposal that's been approved. There was a session of cabinet where the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman presented the plans. They were then approved. Our understanding is that the program really has three parts. The first two parts involve building nuclear power generation. The first bit is developing 2 nuclear power plants with a total capacity of about 2.8 gigawatts. And then the smaller smart reactors, which are being developed with some Korean expertise, which will have capacities of about 100 megawatts each. So that's on the power generation side. And then the third part of the program is developing uranium, mining uranium, which will then be used in power generation. So that's Saudi nuclear. So that's really been the sort of the biggest headline this week. There's also been a lot of project activity going on. Traditionally, the summer's a bit of a slow period. Yet over the last few years, we've noticed that slow period's really not been as pronounced as it has been in the past, and particularly in Dubai this week, there's been quite a lot of activity going on. There's been prices going in for 2 quite tall towers in the Marina, the 74 stories, and there's been quite a lot of other tendering activity going on. Also, there's a tender due to be out soon for what's probably the largest building job that's ever been tendered in the region, which is a shopping mall at the Dubai Creek Harbour development, which Emaar Properties is managing. It comes out at an interesting time. The retail sector's at quite an interesting crossroads at the moment globally. Developing a traditional mall at a time when people are using online shopping and online services a lot more than visiting a mall means it's quite a risky strategy to develop such a large mall. So it'll be very interesting to see how that project progresses on a number of different fronts. One's the sort of how it progresses from a retail point of view, what type of product they build. But then also it's going to be very interesting from a contracting point of view. Over the past 2 to 3 years, contractors have really been under an awful lot of strain. There's a lot of delayed payments, variations and claims tend not to be entertained. So there's been a real sort of shying away from risk as contractors have had their fingers burnt on a number of different projects. So could be quite a big challenge for the developer to try to get a number of competitive bids for a job that's so large and potentially has so much risk involved. So that could be something really to watch over the rest of this year. And if we want a reminder of the risks involved in construction, there's been a couple of interesting stories as well this week. The first one that we've written about is what will be the world's tallest structure, which is the tower at Dubai Creek Harbour, which has been in a sort of a procurement phase for about a year now. And there was 2 groups involved on a pre-construction agreement, and they've really been struggling with the project client, which again is Emaar Properties, to agree on budgetary and terms and conditions. So that's sort of really highlighted again this attitude to risk that you have with contractors when compared to developers. And then also there's been issues on the Dubai Mall extension as well with the contractor working there, Multiplex, who've had some issues, and there was even a move to have a couple of bonds cashed. So again, just highlighting the risks involved in construction, particularly when these very large projects are moving ahead. And I think really what it is particularly in Dubai, we have a lot of the sort of traditional ambition of the developers that's still there, but that's now being met with the sort of the grim realities that a lot of the contractors have to deal with at the moment. So very interesting source of tension to watch over the next couple of years as Dubai gets ready to host the Expo. Moving away a little bit from construction, another interesting story this week, which I think is one that's going to be one to watch in the future across the region really, is Abu Dhabi is making moves to set up its own export credit agency. We've reported a lot over the last couple of years about export credit agencies providing funding solutions and project guarantees for projects in the region from places like Europe, where UKEF, SACE and COFAS have been quite active in the marketplace, and of course Asian counterparts such as KSA have been providing funding guarantees for a lot of projects in the region. We're now seeing that trend operating in a slightly different way. We're seeing people in the region developing export credit agencies to support regional companies looking for work elsewhere. So I think that's going to be an interesting trend as companies in the region have worked on very large-scale projects, developed expertise, and are looking for new markets to enter. We've already seen that to a certain extent. We've seen companies from the region, say, picking up work in markets such as India, which are still targeted as sort of global growth markets. So these export credit agencies will support that growth and help develop a regional industry. So Abu Dhabi's making that move. We've also had comments from people in Saudi Arabia in recent months that Saudi Arabia is making similar moves to try and develop their indigenous companies as well to become more sort of regional and global players. So I think that's another thing just to watch over the next couple of years. They were the main stories this week. Those stories and a lot more are available to read on meed.com. Please subscribe, read the stories, and get in touch with us if you have any comments. And also please subscribe to this YouTube channel where there's lots more video content, and also another weekly update will be posted next week. Thank you.